The Meteorology and Atmospheric Science Department at Penn State is part of the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. The College of Earth and Mineral Sciences Dean from 2002 to 2006 is our guest tonight. He returned to the university in 2014 as Penn State's 18th president. And this week, Dr. Eric Barron welcomes his 6th incoming freshman class to Penn State. Welcome back to Weather World, Eric.
Thank you.
You've been at Penn State 5+ years now, so what are the lessons learned during that time?
Well, you know, I don't know whether it's a lesson, but something that's really interesting to me is that I came here knowing what the land-grant mission was all about. Here, this is all about service to society. So I know that. I walk in the door. What impresses me the most is the degree to which we serve the Commonwealth and the nation. So we look at our campus structure. We have a campus within 30 miles of 97% of the population of Pennsylvania. You can recruit, you can commute to a world-class education. That's a phenomenal statement. We now have innovation hubs at every single campus. Again, you can help promote your company, do a startup, get help to do that 30 miles from 96% of the population. And then there's Ag Extension, and there are Justice Institutes, and Shavers Creek. You add it all up, and it is just remarkable what our commitment is to serving the Commonwealth.
And one initiative, and you sort of alluded to this, that you've really pushed is student entrepreneurship. In fact, we've had 2 different sets of students here in meteorology in just the last 4 years start a company while in college, and those companies have eventually been bought out. I mean, what are some of the resources available that allows that to happen?
So there's a tremendous amount of resources, and I think what's distinctive for Penn State is our focus on the student. We don't own the intellectual property of a student. So what that means is that many universities don't support what a student is doing. They're supporting what their faculty is doing, hoping the tech transfer will result in money, and that will help support the university. Yet here are these students. They are tremendously motivated by serving society, solving problems that they have faced, and that was an unmet need. And so we've created a lot of incentives within the universities, competition, minors in entrepreneurship, launch boxes in our communities where a student can walk in and get help. They can spend the summer working on a company. They can work with lawyers. So there's a tremendous amount of resources that can help community members, alumni, faculty, staff, students create companies. Wonderful.
You earlier mentioned the land-grant mission. In June, you hosted a meeting of leaders of the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities here at Penn State. What was the goal there?
So our goal of this group that is a membership society for public universities is really to focus on community engagement and to focus on economic development, those 2 components. Well, if you think about it, there's Penn State as a model for community engagement and economic development, the way that I just described it. So we had a couple of 100 people from dozens and dozens of universities who came here to see how Penn State does it, but also to share best practice. Very successful.
Increasingly, I hear talk about whether college is worth it. As a university president, how do you make the argument that it is, particularly for Penn State?
Well, you could argue that not everybody has to go to college, okay? And there are good opportunities to make a good salary and to have a career. But if you also think about it, in this day and age, you're much more likely to need to change jobs and change careers, because this is a very fast-paced world where technology comes in and alters things. If you have a college degree, and if you've had online classes as a college student, you are much more likely to be able to be successful and complete additions, lifelong learning, to be able to have that career change. If I just step out of high school and I have a career, what tools do I have when my job changes out from under me? What is the likelihood that I could go online while I'm supporting a family and get another degree? Those individuals don't actually complete if they haven't had an educational experience. So there are many, many reasons. One of the reasons is you make a lot more money during your lifetime, over $1 million more on average in the US if you have a college degree than if you don't have a college degree. But I think it's getting to be much more fundamental. You're more flexible, more capable of changing and with the times if you have a college degree.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time left, but in your interactions with other university presidents, do you sense a concern that there's sort of a pushback against expertise? Seems to be more relevant today, and if so, how can universities be part of that solution?
Well, so I would say that the way to think about it is, for the first time, say over the last 5 or so years, higher education has become politicized, and the topics have become politicized. And you might have seen it in a few isolated areas in the past, but now it is a much broader focus and characteristic of higher education, that people have very different views based on their political perceptions. And this means that if you have topics from cost of education to climate change to what free speech means, we're in the middle of that back and forth. So I would say it a little bit differently, but it is, I think, a very significant change.
Dr. Eric Barron, president of Penn State, and also former dean of the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences at Penn State. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thanks.
And we will be back in a moment with a recap of the short-range forecast.